It was late evening when Ethan came home. The sky outside his small apartment was painted with soft orange and purple lights. His work boots left dust on the metal floor as he walked in. Ethan lived alone. No family, no friends. Only his tools. And old machines filled the room. But today was different. There was a box waiting for him by the door. A long silver box with a black label. Smart Pet Model LX9. Handle with care. Ethan frowned. Smart Pet? He whispered. I didn't order a robot dog. Then he remembered. 2 nights ago, he'd been scrolling through an online auction site. Too tired, maybe too drunk. He must have clicked buy on something strange. The price was cheap, almost suspicious. Shrugging, Ethan pulled the box inside. It was heavier than expected. Much heavier. He placed it on the workbench and wiped sweat from his forehead. As he opened the first seal, he heard a soft sound. Breathing. His hand froze. That wasn't a machine sound. It was slow, shaky breathing. Probably some kind of audio system, he told himself. These smart pets sound realistic now. But part of him wasn't so sure. Slowly, carefully, Ethan peeled back the next layer. Cool mist escaped from inside. His heart beat faster now. This was not normal. This wasn't a robot dog. And then 2 purple eyes blinked up at him. Ethan stepped back, shocked. His back hit the wall. For a moment, he didn't move, didn't breathe. Inside the box, a girl, small, thin, pale lavender skin. Her long silver hair was tangled around her arms. Thin metal bands wrapped around her wrists and ankles. Her body was curled up like she'd been sleeping, but those eyes, too bright, too alive, too scared. She looked at him, shivering. Her lips moved, saying something in a language Ethan didn't know. No way, Ethan whispered, voice shaking. What the hell did I buy? Suddenly, a mechanical voice spoke from a small device near the box. Language detected. Initializing translator. The girl winced. Her tiny hands covered her ears. Ethan's brain spun in circles. This wasn't a toy. This wasn't legal. He walked closer, forcing his feet to move. Hey. It's okay. I won't hurt you. The girl pressed back against the inside of the box, making herself smaller. Her eyes flickered again, this time like a camera lens focusing. Her voice came again, but this time the translator spoke along with her. Please. Do not return me. I do not want to go back. Ethan's stomach dropped. He wasn't a soldier or a hero. He was just a mechanic who fixed old machines. But right now, standing in his small, messy workshop, he had a living alien girl sitting on his workbench, and she was asking for help. His hands shook as he grabbed his old toolkit. He had to cut the metal bands off her wrists. Hold still, he said softly. The girl's whole body trembled, but she didn't pull away. With careful work, Ethan unlocked each band. When the last one clicked free, the girl flinched again. But she didn't run. Instead, she slowly stretched. Her thin arms, like a bird testing broken wings. Ethan sat back on his stool, staring. What are you? He asked quietly. The translator buzzed again. Lyra. My name. Lyra. That was all she said. For a long time, neither of them moved. Ethan knew one thing for sure. This wasn't just a package. This wasn't just a smart pet. And now, this was his problem. Outside his window, the sky darkened fully. Somewhere in the distance, Ethan thought he saw a drone flying by. Just a shadow. But it made his heart jump. He closed the blinds quickly. Whatever. Lyra was whoever had sent her. Someone out there would probably come looking, and Ethan wasn't sure he'd be able to protect her. But for now, he couldn't just send her back. He looked at her again, trying to smile. Welcome home, Lyra, he whispered. The alien girl tilted her head, and for the first time, gave a small, uncertain smile in return. Asterisk, for the first time in a long while. Ethan's workshop was quiet. No music. No machines humming. No tools clanking. Only two people. One human and one not exactly human. The alien girl sat on a blanket near the corner, hugging her knees to her chest. Her purple eyes kept flicking toward Ethan like she was watching a dangerous animal. And Ethan, he didn't know what to do with her. He had locked all the windows, drawn all the curtains. But that didn't help the feeling in his chest. Like someone was standing just outside, waiting to knock on his door. He pulled out a can of food. "You eat?" he asked, holding it up. The girl didn't answer. She just stared. Ethan sighed. He didn't know alien food habits. Maybe she didn't trust him yet. He set the can on the table and leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "I need to know what's going on," he said slowly, voice calm. "I need to know your name." The translator device, still floating near her, buzzed softly. After a pause, it spoke. "Lyra. Name ... Lyra. Same as last night." Ethan gave a small nod. "Okay, Lyra." The girl whispered something again. Her voice was so quiet, Ethan had to step closer to hear. The translator followed her words. "Not ... pet, not machine." That sentence sent a chill down Ethan's spine. He already suspected. But hearing her say it directly, he crouched next to her, hands up to show he meant no harm. "Lyra, where are you from?" Her face tightened. Her small hands dug into her arms, like she was holding herself together. And then, in halting words, the translator spoke her answer. "Taken ... From stars. Brought here ... sold ... used ... broken ... Ethan's breath caught. Sold. Used. Broken. She wasn't just a lost creature. She had been trafficked, turned into property. No wonder she flinched whenever he moved too fast. No wonder. She was scared of him. Suddenly, outside the workshop, there was a sharp noise, a loud metallic clink. Ethan spun around fast. His hand grabbed the wrench from the table, holding it like a weapon. Lyra shrank back, eyes wide. He moved to the window, heart hammering. Slowly, he lifted the curtain just enough to peek outside. There was nothing, just an empty street and the glow of faraway lights. Still, Ethan didn't relax. Something felt wrong. He turned back to Lyra. She was trembling hard now. Her eyes glowed brighter with fear. "Hey," Ethan said softly, setting down the wrench. He crouched again, speaking low, like calming a scared animal. "I'm not like them. I won't hurt you." The translator repeated his words in her own language. But Lyra just hugged her knees tighter. "Please ... quote," she whispered through the translator. "Send me back ... Her voice cracked, and Ethan's chest tightened. He didn't know what kind of man he'd been before. Quiet, alone, fixing machines, but looking at this small, alien girl in front of him. He couldn't turn his back now. He sighed, running a hand through his messy hair. No one's sending. "You back, Lyra." For a few seconds, she didn't move. Then slowly, very slowly, she uncurled her arms. Her small purple fingers brushed against his wrist. Light as a feather. It wasn't much. But it was trust. A start suddenly, that same metallic clink echoed again outside. This time, Ethan didn't wait. He grabbed an old scanner device from the table, flipping it on. The blue screen flickered, showing heat signatures. And there it was, 2 bright red dots moving outside the workshop door. Someone was out there. Suspense. Twist. Ethan checked his security feed. Static. The cameras had been hacked. He swallowed hard. Collectors. He'd heard rumors. Rich men who bought alien pets. Men who didn't care whether those pets were part human, part machine, or living creatures like Lyra. And now they had found him. He turned to Lyra quickly. "We have to go." She didn't argue. She just stood up on shaky legs, clutching his jacket for balance. Ethan grabbed the backpack, stuffing in food cans, tools, and the translator device. When he opened the workshop's back door, the cold night. Air hit his face, but there was no time for fear. Behind him, Lyra whispered again, "Thank you, Ethan." And together, they stepped into the dark street, running, hiding, escaping, before the collectors could trap them both. The city never truly slept. Neon lights flickered like stars on the ground. Silent delivery bots floated through the sky. But for Ethan and Lyra, everything felt too quiet. They had been hiding inside an abandoned subway tunnel for 2 days now. Rusty pipes, cracked walls, flickering lights. It wasn't home. But it was safe. Or so Ethan thought. Ethan sat with his back against a wall, eyes half closed. Lyra sat nearby, her thin arms wrapped around her knees. Her silver hair hung over her face like a curtain. She didn't talk much. Mostly she watched. Quiet, careful, but tonight, something changed. Ethan woke suddenly, heart racing. A soft buzzing sound filled the tunnel, high-pitched electric. At first he thought it was just his tools. Then Lyra opened her eyes too. Her purple eyes glowed faintly in the dark. She wasn't breathing like a scared child. No, her whole body had gone still, frozen like she knew that sound already. "What is it?" Ethan whispered. The translator buzzed, translating Lyra's single word. "Hunters." Ethan stood up fast. His flashlight flicked on, and that's when he saw it, a drone, floating just outside the tunnel entrance. No bigger than a basketball, but its surface shimmered with black chrome. One red light blinked in the center, scanning, searching. Ethan's chest tightened. He had seen drones before, security drones, delivery bots. But this wasn't normal tech. This was private collector hardware, quiet, hidden, deadly. He whispered, "Stay down." But Lyra was already moving. She didn't scream, didn't panic. Her thin fingers pressed against a metal panel in the wall, her glowing eyes flickering like a machine. "Lyra, what are you doing?" She didn't answer. The translator stayed silent. Ethan could only watch as strange symbols appeared on the wall, glowing purple lines, like a secret code. Then the drone's red eye blinked twice. It had found them. Ethan grabbed his backpack. His voice rose. "Lyra now. We have to run." Before he could finish, the drone fired a pulse. The ZZZ. Electric blue light filled the tunnel, crackling against the walls. Pipes exploded. Sparks rained down like fireworks. Ethan's ears rang. His whole arm felt numb. But when he looked over, Lyra was standing tall, her eyes blazing. Her skin shimmered, with light patterns running down her arms. For a second, Ethan didn't see a scared girl anymore. He saw something else. Something powerful. With a sharp, fast movement, Lyra raised her hand and the drone exploded in midair. A burst of purple energy, silent, precise. Ethan could barely speak. "How did you?" But there was no time. 2 more drones appeared outside the tunnel. This wasn't just a mistake. Someone had locked onto Lyra's location. "Move!" Ethan shouted. They ran together, deeper into the tunnel, feet pounding against old metal floors. Sparks and dust filled the air. Ethan's chest burned from running. "Where are we even going?" he asked, half to himself. The translator picked up Lyra's soft voice. "Out of scanner range. They cannot follow. If signal lost." So she knew the tech. She wasn't just hiding from it. She understood how it worked. Another mystery Ethan would have to figure out later. They ducked into a maintenance shaft. Lyra pressed her hands against the wall again. This time, a hidden door opened a panel Ethan hadn't even noticed before. "Are you seriously doing this right now?" Ethan whispered, but Lyra just gave him one look. Calm, quiet, eyes glowing. No fear. Together, they slipped inside the hidden passage. The door closed behind them with a soft hiss. Now total darkness. Ethan's heart pounded in his ears. His hands shook. But even in the dark, he felt Lyra's small hand wrap around his. A silent message. "You are not alone." And for the first time since this all began, Ethan realized something. Lyra wasn't just a scared girl in a box. She was something far more dangerous. And the people hunting her, they knew it. Hours passed. Ethan and Lyra hid inside the narrow maintenance tunnel. Only the soft hum of old wires kept them company now. No more drones. No more sounds outside. But silence wasn't. Safety. Silence was waiting. Ethan sat against a cold metal wall, head resting back, mind racing. His heart still hadn't slowed down from the chase. His hands still felt shaky. Beside him, Lyra sat cross-legged, eyes closed like she was meditating. She had been so calm even while drones chased them. Even while Ethan panicked. Now he understood why. Lyra wasn't just part alien. She wasn't just part machine. She was something in between a living weapon. But right now, she looked small again, tired, weak. Ethan finally spoke. How long can we stay here? Lyra's purple eyes opened slowly. Her voice came through the translator. Not long. Signal. Pulse. Returns. In cycles. What does that mean? Ethan asked, brow furrowing. Hunters will scan again. 6 hours. Maybe less. Ethan sighed hard. He rubbed a hand over his face. So we run again, huh? Lyra didn't answer. Her eyes lowered. She was exhausted. That's when Ethan noticed something. Her skin flickering small. Lights under her arms and neck dimming like a battery dying. Her energy was running low. He cursed under his breath. You need power, don't you? Food won't help. Slowly, Lyra gave a tiny nod. Ethan felt helpless for a second. A mechanic without tools. A fighter without a plan. Then his brain clicked into gear. He pulled his old scanner device from his backpack, checking local signals. The screen glitched twice, then cleared. There's an old service station, he muttered to himself. Solar. Chargers, tools, might still have power cells. His eyes met Lyra's. If we get there, maybe I can boost your systems. Lyra's face softened almost like relief. But just as Ethan stood up, ready to move by ZZD, a soft, sharp noise echoed. Through the tunnel wall. Ethan froze. His scanner flashed red. More drones. Closer than before. He looked at Lyra, voice low. They're back. Lyra stood slowly. Her legs shook. She wasn't strong enough to run fast this time. Ethan's stomach tightened. He had a choice now. He could leave her run alone, survive. Or he could fight. He checked the tools in his bag. Pulse jammer, emp wrench, old shock traps from his workshop. Not weapons, but enough to cause trouble. Ethan's voice dropped to a whisper. We can't run anymore. Lyra's eyes widened slightly. Through the translator came her careful reply. You stay? Fight? Ethan gave a bitter laugh. Yes I'm that kind of idiot. For a moment, Lyra looked at him in a way she hadn't before. Not like a scared pet. Not like a broken machine, like a person who trusted him. Ethan set his bag down and began, working quickly. He placed shock traps by the tunnel entrance. Small devices that would snap with high voltage if touched. He linked the pulse jammer to an old wire in the wall. Lyra helped, even while her energy flickered. Her small fingers moved wires with silent skill. She didn't speak. Didn't need to. Together, they prepared. And when the first drone floated into view, red eye glowing in the tunnel, Ethan whispered, now. Lyra pressed her hand against the control panel. Crack! A wave of purple light burst out. The first drone systems fried instantly, falling like a dead insect to the ground. But there were more behind it. Ethan grabbed his ME wrench, swinging hard as the second drone darted forward. Sparks flew, his arms ached. His lungs burned from holding his breath. Beside him, Lyra collapsed to her knees. Her strength was gone. Her systems blinking faintly now, like a candle almost out. But even on the ground, her hand reached out, touching The wall, sending one final pulse. The last two drones froze in midair, systems locked. Crashing down, silence returned. Ethan dropped his wrench, chest heaving. They had won. But only barely. He knelt beside Lyra, pulling her into his arms carefully. Her skin felt cold, now too cold. Hey ... double quote, he whispered. Stay awake, you hear me? The translator buzzed faintly. ... Ethan shook his head, voice firm now. No, you don't get to shut down yet. His eyes burned with something sharp and fierce. Not just fear. Not just survival. For the first time, he wasn't running just to save himself. He was fighting. Because someone needed him, and he wasn't going to let her fall. The night sky above the ruined city glowed with quiet blue lights. Ethan stood on the rooftop of the old service station, wind brushing through his hair. His jacket was torn, his hands dirty, but he had made it. They both had. Down below, inside the station's main room, Lyra rested. Her body had stopped flickering for now. Ethan had found a working solar charger and connected it to a hidden port near her collarbone. That small metal piece wasn't something human girls had. Now, as the charger pulsed gently, color slowly returned to her pale skin. But Ethan's mind wasn't calm. For hours, he kept looking through an old terminal he'd found inside the station. One file had finally unlocked. A hidden folder marked LX9 project files, and inside it, everything Ethan never wanted to know. Lyra wasn't an accident. She wasn't just a smart pet model someone smuggled out. She was part of something called the Hybrid Companion Initiative. Humans had built her. Not aliens, big companies. Secret labs. They had mixed alien DNA with machine. Parts trying to create the perfect companion. Beautiful, obedient, and powerful. A living weapon sold as a pet. Ethan sat down hard in the chair, head in his hands. His heart felt heavy now. All this time, he thought Lyra had been kidnapped from her own kind. But no. She didn't have a home out there. Her home was Earth. And Earth had betrayed her first. Behind him, there was a soft voice. Ethan. He turned fast. Lyra stood in the doorway, her eyes brighter again. But there was sadness in them now. Her translator spoke quietly. You found the truth. Ethan swallowed hard. Yeah, he said. I did. For a moment, neither spoke. The wind blew gently through broken windows. Lyra stepped closer, slow and careful. Now you return me? Ethan looked at her sharply. What? No. You know, she said, voice breaking. I am not real, not human, not alien. Ethan stood up and shook his head. You're real enough to me. Lyra's eyes glimmered like wet glass. Her hands trembled, but she didn't pull away this time when Ethan rested a hand on her shoulder. Then, something new happened. Her skin shimmered bright purple lines glowing softly under her skin. Not like before. Now it looked calm, controlled, almost beautiful. What is that? Ethan asked, frowning. The translator whispered back, my core. Stabilizing, when I trust. Ethan smiled a little. So now you trust me, huh? Before Lyra could answer, the station lights flickered again. Ethan's face turned serious in an instant. He grabbed his scanner from the table and checked the screen. His jaw tightened. 3 heat signals. Moving toward the station. Vehicles. Heavy ones. Lyra saw it too. Her eyes lost their softness again, turning sharp and bright. They found us again, Ethan muttered. Collectors. But this time, he didn't feel panic. He had already made his choice. He grabbed his bag and helped Lyra stand. We fight. Together this time. Lyra nodded once, voice quiet, but sure. Together. Before leaving, Ethan grabbed one last file from the terminal and uploaded it to his wrist device, a backup of the LX9 project files. If something happened to them, the world would know the truth about Lyra, about all of it. Outside, engines roared in the distance. Big collector trucks. Mounted drones flying ahead like birds hunting prey. Ethan didn't flinch. He looked at Lyra. Standing beside him, her small form glowing like a living star. Whatever she wasn't just a smart pet. She wasn't a machine. She was Lyra. And Ethan wasn't about to let anyone take her back. Asterisk. The sky above the city turned red and gold as dawn broke. But for Ethan and Lyra, there was no peace. The collectors had found them. Ethan stood beside Lyra on the service station roof, watching dust clouds rise from 3 armored trucks speeding down the empty highway. Sleek black machines followed them in the air hunter drones, shaped like sharp metal birds. Ethan's jaw tightened. His wrench and pulse jammer felt heavy in his hands. This time, running wasn't an option. He spoke low. Lyra, when I say, you drop the shields. Lyra stood calmly beside him, silver hair moving in the wind. Her skin glowed with steady purple light now, not flickering. Stronger than before. Her translator buzzed. Together. Not alone. Ethan gave a quick nod. Seconds later, the trucks reached the station's gate. They didn't stop. They smashed straight through, sending metal flying. Collectors in dark armor jumped out, helmets covering their faces, rifles pointed forward. A voice boomed from a speaker. This is your final warning. Return the property. Stand down. Ethan's heart raced. His hands sweated. But his voice didn't shake. He shouted back. Her name is Lyra, not property. Come take her if you can. That was all it took. The collectors opened fire, pulse bullets slamming into walls and windows. Sparks flying. Ethan dropped low, pulling Lyra behind cover. His traps had already been set. Shock wires hidden in the floors. AMP grenades rigged near the doors. With a sharp move, he pressed a button on his wrist device. Crack! Electric pulses exploded across the yard. 2 collectors fell instantly, suits sparking. Drones dropped from the sky like dead birds, but more kept coming. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter now. Her voice was calm as she touched the metal railing. Signal override now. Around them, the service station's old machines roared to life. Forgotten robots, dead for years, suddenly moved again, metal arms swinging. Broken cleaning bots charging at the enemy like wild dogs. Ethan couldn't believe it. Lyra wasn't just controlling them. She was giving them life. Even so, the collectors pushed forward, stronger, better armed. Ethan gritted his teeth. His wrench slammed into another drone as it flew past his head. His shoulder burned from the effort. But he didn't stop. Then a sharp cry. Lyra stumbled beside him. Her arm flickered. A bullet had grazed her shoulder, and purple-blue liquid dripped from the wound. Lyra! Ethan grabbed her, pulling her close behind cover. His voice shook now. Stay with me. Don't shut down. Her translator buzzed weakly. System, holding, must finish. No, forget the fight. We'll find another way, Ethan said, voice sharp. But Lyra's eyes stayed locked on the enemy. Her lips moved slowly. If I run. They never stop. I stop them now. Before Ethan could stop her, Lyra stood tall again. Her whole body glowing, now brighter than before. Light poured from her skin like liquid stars. Ethan's heart slammed against his ribs. Lyra, wait. But it was too late. With one final pulse, Lyra raised both hands toward the sky. Purple lightning shot upward, arcing through the clouds. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a signal, a broadcast. Ethan's wrist device buzzed wildly. His screen lit up. Live broadcast initiated. Across the city, people would now see her. Lyra, half alien, half machine, not a smart pet. Not a weapon, a living person. The collectors froze mid-attack. Their leader shouted into a radio, panic in his voice. Too late now. The secret was out. Ethan stood beside Lyra, breathing hard. His hand found hers. For a moment, everything was still. Then, one by one, the collector trucks began to pull back. Sirens echoed in the distance. Real law enforcement this time. Cameras, news drones, witnesses. Ethan didn't say anything. He just held Lyra's hand tighter. The hunters were gone, but everything had changed. The city woke to news it had never seen before. Screens everywhere showed one image, a silver-haired alien girl, glowing with purple light, standing beside a human man in a dusty jacket. Her name was Lyra, and she was no longer a secret. Ethan stood by the cracked window of an old hospital room now. Lyra sat quietly on the bed behind him, her wounds wrapped in clean white bandages. The room smelled like old metal and fresh air. It wasn't a real hospital. It was a safe house now, one owned by a group of people who had seen the broadcast and chosen to help. Ethan's hands shook as he watched the news drone hovering outside. Reporters everywhere were shouting, "Who is she? Is this Earth's first living hybrid? Why was she hidden from the world?" But Ethan didn't care what they said. His eyes were only on Lyra. She sat with her head low, arms wrapped around her knees, quiet as always. But this time, there was something heavier in the air between them. Ethan walked back to her slowly and sat beside her on the bed. His voice came soft and steady. "I have something to ask you, Lyra." Her purple eyes lifted to meet his, glowing gently. She didn't speak, waiting for his words. "You don't have to stay," Ethan said. "Now the world knows about you. If you want, I can help you find others. Maybe there are more like you." For a long moment, Lyra said nothing. Her small fingers curled into the blanket. Then, through the translator, came her quiet answer. "I do not want others." Ethan frowned slightly. "What do you mean?" Lyra's voice shook just a little. "I want you." Those simple words caught Ethan off guard. His breath stopped for a second. Double quotes. Lyra ... Her eyes didn't glow bright like before. Now they were soft, human-like. "I don't care what you are," Ethan said quietly. "Alien, machine. It doesn't matter. You're real. And as long as you want me to, I'll stay." Lyra gave him the smallest smile, her real smile. Not one created by programming. But before they could say more, the door opened with a quiet hiss. A woman in a dark suit stepped in, holding a datapad. Her face was calm, but her eyes sharp. Government? Or maybe a private company representative? Ethan couldn't tell anymore. "We're here to talk," she said. "Not to hurt her." Ethan stood slowly, shielding Lyra without thinking. "Talk about what?" The woman's voice stayed cool. "The world saw your broadcast. Some people want her locked away, but others ... Others see value, protection, rights." She paused. "We're offering a choice." Ethan tensed. "What choice?" "She can live here," the woman said. "As a citizen, protected. But it means one thing. She never be sold again, never be hunted, but she also be studied." Ethan glanced back at Lyra, his heart tightening. He knew she wouldn't like that. Wires, tests, machines trying to figure her out. Or? Ethan asked sharply. The woman gave a small smile. Or ... she walks free. But if she does, there's no protection. Someone else may come for her again. The room felt cold now. Lyra's hand reached out slowly. Her fingers brushed Ethan's wrist. Through the translator came her voice, steady now. "I choose." The woman raised her eyebrows slightly. "Go ahead." Lyra stood up slowly, standing tall for the first time like the girl Ethan had first seen in the package, only now full of quiet strength. No cage. No test. Her eyes glowed brighter, not in fear. "In control. I live free," Lyra said, "with Ethan." Ethan felt a sharp pull in his chest. The woman in the suit nodded after a pause. "As you wish, but remember, freedom has its price." With that, she turned and left. The door closed behind her with a final, quiet click. Ethan let out a slow breath, turning back to Lyra. "Are you sure?" Lyra's smile returned. "With you," she said. And together, They walked outside into the morning light. The city wasn't empty anymore. People stood in the streets, watching, quiet, curious. Some held up cameras. Some didn't, but no one moved to stop them. Ethan felt Lyra's small hand in his again. The world had changed, but whatever came next, they would face it together.